But I'll tell you a book that really impacted me greatly. And John Maxwell wrote a book, and I highly recommend this book. It's called The 5 Levels of Leadership. Spectacular. And he's got a version of this teaching he can give and customize it to biblical leaders and give you biblical examples. Of course, the books he writes to a broader audience as well. But there are 5 levels, and I'll just say them to you quickly, but I'm not going to do the content justice. But he says that the first level of leadership is what he calls rights, and that is that people follow you because they have to. And most people think that that's the top, and it's actually the most bottom level, basic level of leadership.
Title alone.
Exactly. It's the title on your desk. It's the I'm the boss, so line up. And they'll do it, but they don't want to. And then he gets into the second level, and that is relationship. People follow you because they now want to, and they want to because they're in relationship. They truly believe that you're for them, and you love them, and you want the best for them, and you do want to empower them. But that's only the second level of the 5. The third is what John calls results. And results is people follow you because of what you've accomplished, of what you've done. And that matters. Because it's why people want to go play football for Nick Saban, right? Yeah, because I'm gonna end up in a championship game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't even have to like him, and they probably don't. You know, because I don't know, they may like him, but they know they're going to end up in the NFL. You know, so now, and I think that's important for leaders to realize that you have to be the kind of leader that can produce some results, not only for yourself, but for that other leader, so they can accomplish. But that's the third level. The fourth is what he calls reproduction. People follow you for what you've done in them. And now you're mentoring, and now you're maybe even helping their kids, and you're reproducing your life in them. And the last level, the level that we all hope to attain someday, I don't think I'm there yet, is the 5th level, and that's the respect level. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent. You're in some cases, you're the Billy Graham. You become bigger than life, and it's just because you're Billy Graham. I want to be a part of that. But this is a great book for us to read, I think, if you want to get this first all-important key to building teams, be the kind of leader people want to follow. Number 2, and I don't think leaders think about this one enough, and that is to communicate a vision that people want to join.
That's great.
So I know a lot of leaders that are actually all these things we talked about in point number 1. And I've talked to leaders who have great ideas and vision and hopes and dreams for their church, their business. It's not enough. You've got to be able to communicate it in a way that rallies the troops. And what I recommend is actually for leaders to listen to great motivational speeches. I mean, the I have a dream type speeches that causes 1 million people to march on the mall of Washington, D.C. What is that? That's more than a dream. It's the ability to communicate it in a way where people want it. And so I don't think we think enough of this. I think every pastor ought to listen to more vision nights or vision Sundays of churches that they respect, because they're going to hear in this communication that it makes people want to, like the disciples did for Jesus, drop their nets and follow, because they knew they were in the presence of someone great. I had this in your show notes, but let me read this great quote. Leadership is ultimately about creating a way for people to contribute to making something extraordinary happen. Let me say that again. Leadership is ultimately about creating a way for people to contribute to making something extraordinary happen. The words I use, if you can communicate a vision that's both exciting and ennobling. So we're going to have fun, and buddy, it's going to make a difference.
Right.
So it's going to be a blast. You trust me, you want to come do this with me? And by the way, we're going to change the world. If you can put those two things together, you can use this in your home. Again, these are principles that you can work in business, family. It's having exciting and ennobling. So one of the things that we do, and we're going to talk about this in a future podcast, is we have a legacy team, and we have a legacy vision. And our legacy vision is the vision we're not doing yet. It's the gap between, hey, we're doing a lot, but here's what we could do if. And we communicate these through the help of Lee Domain, who is the CEO of Grow Leader and organizes all this for us. And we're going to get him on a future podcast to explain to us, because what he helped even me with is it's fine for you to have vision, but we've got to explain this to people who want to contribute. And so we created these 5 legacy lanes for people to contribute financially into our church, and it's made all the difference in the world.
And when you tell somebody you can't set the vision, but you can help control the pace and how fast we get there,
exactly,
they light up. They want to be a part of it.
Because they have power now to say, oh, so that's what you want to accomplish? And say, yeah, we're going to do it one day, but you get to determine if it's 2 day.
Right.
And it's amazing how that energizes people. So here's the point again, is that to build great teams, it starts with your own character, your own integrity, your own passion. Are you someone that people want to follow? But the second becomes, are you communicating vision in a way where people want to drop their nets and like, yes,
yep,
I'm ready to go.